Welcome back to the channel. Look what I got. The G-Shock G-8000, the sniper. Look at this thing. You see that screen? Let me see if I can press the button. You see how everything, all the thing moves? That's the stopwatch, the timer. So it has a feature where this thing here that looks like a button is actually a flash alert light. I'll put up a small video here, that way you can see it. And it gives you a small flash at 30 seconds, and then it'll start flashing around 10 seconds, and it kind of changes the pitch around 5 seconds, I think. The alarms. So 2 alarms, the snooze, and here's you turn on the signal. Back to the home time. It is dual. It's like a dual, called a dual illuminator, because it's EL light plus the LED light here in the front, and it's also has an auto light, which you can see. I just turned it on here with that little signal, and if it's dark, I actually don't know how this works, because this one doesn't have a solar panel, but you see it works perfectly. So it might turn on even if it's got light. It's actually not turning on right now. Look, is it? Yeah, I think it is. So today we're gonna be opening this up, changing the battery and the O-ring. I managed to find this one, a long discontinued part on eBay. So everything of this watch is discontinued. Came out in 2005, I believe. So you can't find anything from this watch right now. Let me get my tools here. And of course, we're gonna be taking a look at the 2958 module 00 code that also appears on the W221H, but with code 10. So we're going to be comparing the board, and you're going to see that they're different, but it usually means that they share the chip. The original chip is the same, even though you remember this is not EL light, this one is. But this one, on the video that I took it apart, you can see it has a space to add the sensor. So my guess is if I could change maybe a jump code to turn it into 00, turn that 10 into 00, I might be able to get auto light working on this module. But I still have to figure out, well, I don't think it has like a sensor to know if there's light outside or anything. So fun little project. So let's take it apart. It uses battery 2016, I believe. Take a look at these straps. They are pretty nice for a watch this old, but I'm gonna clean them up, and hopefully I could get them to look brand new. Very comfortable watch. Not huge. Look at the screws, how big they are. Look how the system works here. So you see, if you break this, you're out of luck trying to find a replacement for that. You see this watch, whoever owned it took very good care of it, because it has signed that it was used, but it was not abused. It's in pretty good shape. And of course, I have my heat mats plugged in. Humidity is now at 40. By the time I get to close this watch, it should be below 30%. You see that it does have a little bit of rust there from the time it was used, but you know, I could clean that up. It's not a big problem. Let me put on my double goggles here. The O-ring is kind of flat, but I mean, something like this, I don't think anybody is going to use on a daily, being that this is a discontinued watch. So, but I do have it, so I'm going to be replacing it. I keep track of where it is. 12 o'clock. Let's lift. Here is in this corner right here. That's the auto light sensor. Look at the shape of that LCD. Pretty cool, huh? And that's the connection right there for that front LED. Right there, and it makes a connection with those two springs right there. So this watch was available in different colors, and it was also available with a negative display. I want to remove the buttons so I could re-lube them also, and hopefully wash all these screws. Look, make them look brand new. I guess the question is, do you have this model, or have you ever seen one of these? All right, let's see, how can we take this off, because it looks like this gray part is separate piece, and I don't want to. No, I don't want to. I don't want to jank on the bezel, because I don't know if it's dry, And of course, there's no parts for this, so I don't want to break it. So I'm going to remove the buttons first. And go from there. Make sure I don't break anything. Definitely an important step if you're dealing with an old watch. Removing the buttons. Make sure that everything is nice and lubed. We got metal buttons. So we have, so far, well, that's a big old O-ring right there. Typical 2 O-rings, the washer and a spring. So nothing crazy. The buttons are kind of big though. Making sure I got all the O-rings. All right, let me see if I could pull this straight up. There. All right, perfect. Oh, so this part, it's part of the bezel. Look. Isn't that crazy? All right, let's get the secret tools here. The wood pegs. Beautiful. Now I can clean this with a toothbrush. Hopefully I can get it clean without water, because I don't want to get that LED wet. Shouldn't be that difficult. This I could wash, and the bezel can get wet. And all these buttons and the old O-rings, I like to wash them, remove all that old grease, wash everything. So I'm gonna clean all of this, and once I have it clean and the straps, I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Check it out. So it does have some deep scratches. I wasn't able to take that out. Maybe with a little bit of sanding, but I'm not gonna worry about it. You see that one is pretty deep. Everything is nice and cleaned. Considering how old this watch is, and look, I even washed the old O-ring, and it looks almost brand new, except for little spots right here. Like, look, still has some flat spots, but you know, I'm not gonna use this. I'm gonna put this away, and over time it might start coming back and, you know, and pluff back up again. So, you know, it's nice to have a spare. So let's open this guy up here. Duracell 2016. I mean, could be worse. Could be worse. So I already have the other module over here. Look at the size difference. And look at the board. See how it has the area where you're supposed to add the sensor, but it's actually backwards. So this is the top, right? And the way it works is when you tilt the watch, there's a little ball in the sensor, and the ball needs to roll and touch the two pins. So the little box, this should have been drawn this way. That way when you tilt the watch, the ball rolls down, touches the pin. And it'll fit inside this cavity here, which means this needs to be cut out, because if this touches the sensor, it will automatically turn on the light. So I don't know if they're thinking about making another watch with the same board and, you know, adding that feature. So who knows? Let's open this guy up. Look, this guy has some springs here. So you gotta pay very close attention to them. And the springs are for the EL light. Plus the two in the front for the LED light in the front. Look, one of the springs fell off. The speaker spring fell off also, look. It's right there. So here's the sensor. This is what I mean. That's 12 o'clock. So when you tilt the watch, the little ball inside rolls down and touches down. Yeah, a little spring from here. Let's put that to the side. Look, it's right here, the speaker and the little LED. It's right there. Let's take this one off. As you can see, there's like no clear spots here where we could do a jump. And clearly the board is different. The board is almost identical to the AE 1200. Alright, so you got the sensor area right here. Got the solder spot right here. And here you see all the jumper. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 areas where you could jump to hopefully get that to work. But you follow this, the 2 pins right here, they'll go to the chip. And this chip is the same one as the one in here. That's why it shows up as the same module number. So I'll have to look at this to see which of these lines actually go to a light. Try to figure out to see maybe which one. Or I could do, look, you see this one shorted from factory. And who knows what else we can unlock, doing all of this. But, it's going to take a long time just to do one by one. I mean, and it's a lot easier to do it with a pen. I have a pen where you could just dab in with the special ink, metallic ink, and it will short it out, and then, put it back together and try it out. But that's a project for another video. But there it is. In case you want to take a picture here for comparison. Different size. You see this? That's what happens when somebody that doesn't know how to change a battery, they start poking to try to open the battery door, and they scratch the board, and that's how they damage a watch. Luckily, there's nothing to damage in that area. But so now I got to do some surgery here to put all this back. I'm going to put this watch back together, and I'll be back. Before I put the module back in the case, I wanted to show you something. Notice how it has like a button on the 6 o'clock, but it doesn't do anything. So that means there's another watch that probably has the same board, same everything, but with a button at 6 o'clock. Go figure. Everything looks clean. Wonder what's that other watch. So the O-rings on the buttons have been lubed. Everything is nice and refreshed. Everything looks clean. Got some new Renata here. Let's see if they work. You could date them with this code right here. And I have it written down somewhere, but I don't remember right off my head like that. So I'll put it up in the screen. E03H. Positive side up. Use either plastic or rubber tip tweezers. Never grab them with a metal tweezers like that because you can short them out. That's a mistake I've done in the past. All right, so let's make sure this is nice and tight. There. Let's do an AC reset. On this watch, it's right here in the corner. It's the biggest dot right there. So you put a tweezer in there, and then somewhere on the metal chassis here. And we're back. And the first thing I want to check is the light. And it works. That's the main thing with those Renata batteries. Let's lube the new O-ring here. So I got it on eBay. It came from, I think, Austria. And it took a long time because once it came out of customs, don't know why, it just got stuck. And then instead of coming east to the East Coast, it went to California. You see this right here? Not happy with that. So I'm gonna flip it around to see if it fits better this way. Yep, much better. See how the O-ring is completely sitting inside the groove there. Let's install the rubber cushion here, making sure this little guy here is exposed, or you're not gonna have any sound. That's 12 o'clock. So that way we don't put this backwards. And I'm gonna put in the screws and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Check it out. This thing almost looks mint if it wasn't for those scratches. But it looks pretty nice. It looks pretty nice. So to set the time, you will press adjust. When the seconds are blinking, you see that little symbol right there, just like the 221H. If you press this one up here, so now you have the light is gonna be like 1 second or 1.5, and now it's 3 seconds, I believe. So because we are in summertime, DST needs to be on, right? Once you put that on, the watch automatically rolls over 1 hour and takes out an hour from the UTC. Look. You see that? How it does it automatically? So in the East Coast of New York, we're supposed to be like -5 UTC. But during the summer, it's actually -4, which the watch automatically does it when you turn on DST. Right there. You see how it says -4 DST? If I scroll all the way back and I turn it off, you see how it changes automatically to -5? So that means when we go back to winter time, all I have to do is turn it off and everything will start working normal again. And that's gonna be it. Humidity down to 22. Perfect to close the watch. That's going to be it. Do you have this one? Very comfortable watch. Sadly, long gone, discontinued. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching. Peace out. Boom.